Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, happy Saturday. Happy weekend. Despite all the chaos that's going on. I came on here just to talk, just to talk. My condolences go out to the people in Florida who lost loved ones. And it's a shame that we have to experience this at a school. So yeah, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday, which was Friday. I got a phone call from my son's high school that there was some gunshots at a college out near this city he goes to school, where he goes to school at. So that kind of, it made me nervous. And I got another phone call that everything was okay, but it wasn't on the news or anything that I know of. So hopefully no one got hurt or killed. So, okay. I came on here. I don't even know why. Oh, okay. So I've been going through my head today and a couple days ago about what video to give y'all. So I'm gonna give you guys something from my past, and it's kind of crazy, kind of emotional, kind of bad. So yes, y'all. Okay, so y'all remember what was that? A guy on Comic View who did I Was in Love with a Crackhead. I do not remember his name, but anyways, so that is the title of my story. Your girl was in love with a crackhead, y'all. Okay, like I said, this is crazy. It's emotional. It's weird. Okay, so I had just, let's see, I was living by myself, and I have kids, and my oldest daughter she had to be about 4 or 5 years old at the time, and I did have all three of my kids by then. And my son was probably walking by this time, so he had to be about 1, maybe 2 years old. So I met this guy. I will call him Capri. So I met Capri through my daughter's godmom, and like, I don't know. I can't say if we had an instant connection. Y'all need to put my glasses on because I'm okay. Okay, there we go. I can't say that we had an instant connection. First of all, let me go back. Let me stop in my tracks. Y'all, excuse me how I look. I just braided my hair because y'all can see it's all in the natural, and it's not party right here, and it's one of them days, but I'm having pain. So okay. Excuse my outer appearance today, y'all. Okay, so, okay. Let me go to my story. So, I can't say that we had an instant connection, but it was like we became very close, very quick, but it was not about sex. No, that did come later, but it wasn't about sex. So, we started hanging out. He would come to my apartment, and he would hang out with me, and my middle daughter was like automatically taken with him. Like she held to him, like she stuck with him. Like every time he would come over, he would play with her. Excuse me, he actually helped me potty train her. Anyway, so he did have a daughter, but she wasn't around at that time. She didn't start coming to see us until later. Anyway, so I did not find out about his situation, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So, like I said, we started hanging out. We started getting closer and closer, and okay, y'all, he was in church. He served the Lord. He did gospel rap locally, and he hooked up with, if y'all hear a sound, the heater's on because it's kind of cold, but he hooked up with a local gospel artists, and I won't go into anyone's names, and I'll just, just leave it at that. So they would do concerts, and they would perform. They had their own CD out, and they would sell their CD. And a lot of people knew them throughout the city and the surrounding areas that we knew, and that we lived near. So it was pretty cool, But as time went on, I started noticing things, and this is when he and I got into a relationship, that I started noticing things about him. So, I don't know when it really started, but I'm gonna get into that too. I allow him to move in with me, because it was like he had a job, which I totally understood, and I was not trying I was not trying to get in the way of him having a job. He stayed in a place where he didn't want to be. So I said, okay, you come move in with me. And then at that time, everything was cool, y'all. Like, no problems. Like, everything was fine. So, we started getting busy. Okay. So he was my height, but he was a lot smaller than me. But that was okay though, because I was in love with a crackhead, y'all. Okay. So anyway, Capri and I, we start going out places, but money was funny, and I had my own place, and I did move. I think I moved like 3 times since we were together. Yeah, 3 times. Okay, so he was in a rap. He did a poetry contest at a local poetry, like a slam thing or something like that, and he won first place. So the tickets were to go see Mary Mary in concert, y'all. Okay, so the night he won the tickets, he was so super excited. I wasn't there with him, of course, but he came home that night, and then that night he asked me to marry him, and of course I said yes, y'all, because your girl was in love with a crackhead. So we went to the Mary Mary concert, and during that time, I don't know if anybody ever knew about Mary Mary coming to concert when they were together and everything, and we had so much fun that night. It was the best night, one of the best nights ever. Okay, so I don't remember, because like, y'all, this was so long ago, but I don't even remember the date that it was said, because it was so long ago, and y'all just gonna have to bear with me on some of these times and the dates. So we finally got everything together. I went and got a gown from David's Bridal. He had a really nice suit or tux, something like that, because his best friend helped him buy a brand new suit. My uncle came here to marry us. My cousin let us get married in her house, which was huge, y'all. It was huge. We had probably about maybe 60 people maybe in that house. It was huge. See, the kicker to this is my cousin, 2 of my cousins were living here at that time, 2 of my girl cousins, and see, I don't know why this is, but I never met his family, and I don't know why. Don't ask. Don't be like, girl, you never know. But I never met his family, and when I found this out, I was so mad. But he took my cousin to meet his family. So yeah, I don't know why, but whatever. Okay, it is what it is. It was years ago. So his auntie got mad, and she said, why do I get to meet the cousin and not the actual wife? Now, mind y'all, they knew of me, but they didn't know me. They knew my name, they knew my kids, but they didn't know us. They knew we got married, and they weren't there at our wedding. They knew we were engaged, but They never came to visit. They were not invited to the wedding. And he said he didn't want them there. I was like, cool. I wasn't going to force. I wasn't going to push. So I was like, whatever. We'll just have my family here. And let's see. A couple of his friends were there. Well, actually, 3 of his friends were there. And a couple of their family members. So I was like, cool. You know. Y'all, this wind is blowing like crazy. Anyway. So, let's see. It had to be a couple weeks before we got married. No, maybe about a month before we got married. And he stayed out all night. Now, mind y'all, he had a cell phone. I had a, I didn't have a cell phone back. I did have a cell phone back then. And I was calling and calling and calling him and calling him. And it would ring and he turned it off. And then it was ringing. Ringing. And then he turned it off and went straight to voicemail. So about 6 o'clock that next morning, that's when he decided to come home. And I'm like, I'm looking at him and I'm like, where you been? I've been calling you, I mean, y'all, okay, that sounds so suspicious, so suspect. I'm just like, I can't believe this is going on. So I was like, dude, are you cheating on me? You know, like, what's going on? He's like, no, I'm not cheating on you. And I'm like, so, y'all, okay, from then on, the struggle was real after that. Okay, so if I'm everywhere, it's because it's a lot happened, and I'm trying to get it in these amount of minutes I got on here. So, like I said, a lot happened. I'm telling y'all, a lot happened. So from that time, y'all, I'm just gonna go out there. Capri got arrested after we got married. Capri started getting arrested. Like, all this stuff was going on. Like, I found out he was heavy in the cocaine, crack cocaine, or crack, or is it cocaine? I don't know which one's the difference, but I know he was real heavy into the substance, y'all. And for the life of me, I could not figure out why. Like, I think he was court ordered to go to counseling because they found drugs in his system. But I don't know how many times he went. He was court ordered to pay child support, and if you're not paying, you ain't consistent, you're about going to jail. And those payments weren't consistent. So I'm telling y'all, it was like, we had a domestic violence issue going on, and y'all, he tried to take my life. Okay. I ended up getting pregnant by him, and I lost that baby, and y'all, that was a mess. And I ended up in the hospital, and my kids, they came this close to not having a mom. I put him out, and he broke the window and got back in my apartment. And y'all, I'm telling y'all, he brought a drug dealer to my house with the kids there. And he's like, if I don't get no money, this dude gonna shoot me. And he gonna shoot you too. I'm telling y'all. So, excuse me, his best friend came to the house in the middle of the night to stay. And then he ends up getting arrested. And he's in jail for like 4 days, I think. Yeah, and his friend didn't have nowhere else to go. And I'm like, what's going on here? So, y'all, it's like, I thought, you think you can help somebody, you think you can come into their life and show people that you got their back, but the only thing that you're doing is enabling them. And it's like, being in love with a crackhead, y'all, is detrimental to your soul. your well-being, your sense of peace, your love, your self-love, your whole aura. Your house is in confusion. You always got to keep your guard up. Y'all, I can't even go into the many different occurrences that occurred during the time I was in an 8-year marriage with him. 8 years. And during this time, I found out that he cheated on me. I was like, he left me a total of 4 times. I did not hear from him. I did not see him weeks or months at a time. And I know he was going on his binges, y'all. I already know it. So, and he started doing that because he was under stress. And I'm like, okay, what else could you be stressed out about? But see, at that time, it's like I didn't have anybody coming to me and telling me that when you're so stressed out, that's when you go and get high. I had to learn all this stuff from watching him and not knowing until then what was really going on with him. I did not understand that. Y'all, I had to watch Intervention to understand what was going on with him. But my marriage to him was a long time ago. I didn't understand it. So, there's a, I don't want to say a saying, but in the Bible it talks about being unequally yoked. I don't know if you guys know about this. Some people do, some people don't. And when you are unequally yoked with your spouse, it's like things go wrong. If you don't have a year's worth of counseling, or it's just things is not falling in place, and you don't know that person, you don't know that person's past, you don't know how they deal with stress, you don't know their family, and I'm pretty sure that's why his family was not brought into my life, because of that situation, and because he lost his mom passed, and his brother was serving time in prison. So I'm pretty sure with all of that, it was wearing him down. I was not enough enough support for him, and I wanted to be, but I could not. There was times when I remember I had the kids. My kids were younger. Like I said, my kids were younger. They were still in like elementary school, young. And I was like, I'm locking the house down and I'm leaving. I'm going to my mom's. And as soon as I'm leaving, like, he's coming up the street. And I'm like, for not seeing him weeks at a time, y'all. And I'm like, what do you want? Seriously, what do you want? What do you want from me? That I because I got to the point, y'all, where I couldn't give anymore, because it got to the point to where he was taking money from me. He was taking stuff out of our home to go and support his drug addiction. Y'all, it was like his Crystal, shut the door, please.
I'm going to get a bath.
Okay. Well, it was like his whole life became just involved in addiction. Y'all, I filed for divorce 2 times. I couldn't take it anymore. The first time I filed, I was actually living in another city then, and I hadn't seen him in about 5 to 6 months, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And as I'm turning the street to, I had the divorce papers with me in my van at the time. That's another story, but I'm gonna tell y'all that too. As I'm coming down the street, I see him standing on a street corner.
Mom, I need to get dinner so I can get myself ready for this.
Okay, y'all. So, like I said, I wasn't enough for him. So as I'm headed to my apartment that was in another city, I see him standing on a street corner, and he saw the van and he recognized me. And you know, I believe in giving people second chances, and it's like you want to make sure that, okay, I'm trying to hurry up and and speed this up because it's a lot and it might be a part two. Okay, so I like I said, I believe in giving people second chances, and it's like but you gotta be careful about them second chances, because some people don't deserve a second chance, or they don't even want a second chance. I gave him a second chance, y'all, and I ripped up the divorce papers the first time. So the first time I was like, okay, look, come home, come with me to the new apartment, and let's just, we'll go to counseling. I'll go to counseling with you. And it's like, and as I'm thinking back on it now, it was like, y'all, I tried. I seriously did. But then it was just like, I just couldn't do it. So the day I got him from downtown, from the downtown area, it was like, it was just something about him that just was like, it just was enough for me. And he was coming down off his high, and I was just looking at him, and he ate, he took a shower, he slept all day until the next day, and I was just like, is this what my life is going to boil down to? Am I going to spend the next umpteen years trying to figure out where I'm going with this man? So mind y'all, I have a son that was not his, and I'm thinking to myself, how is he going to benefit my children and even his own daughter with the actions that he was taking? So it wasn't that long before I filed for a divorce again. I got the papers, and at that time I was with somebody else, y'all. I sure was, and it was someone that he knew. But later on, like I said, I come to find out that he cheated on me. So he almost got me kicked out of the apartment I had in another city. I had to get a restraining order out on him because of the property damage that he did, and because he choked me. He was choking me, y'all, and I had to get a restraining order on him for 2 reasons. So he was like, well, will you get the restraining order lifted so I can come and, come hang out with you? And I'm still thinking back on it now, and I'm just like, I did. I went back to the court, and I told them, I really feel that I'm okay. And the judge was like, no, it's a lifetime. So I'm telling y'all right now, if anything was to ever happen to me and he was to come after me, he would get into some serious trouble. Anyways, so moving along. So, it literally took me some time to heal from that, because, when you're dealing with someone who has a substance abuse problem, it's like just like if you're a family member or a spouse, you're taking that on where you thinking it's your fault, or I was thinking that it was me and what I was doing. And there was a couple times we got into an argument. He would tell me that I wasn't doing enough. Like I was getting child support for my daughter. I was trying to hold down a job. I was gaining weight like crazy because I was so stressed out. Like I would eat because I didn't know, seriously, y'all, I didn't know how to deal with this. I didn't know how to cope, or I didn't even know who to talk to. But there's this one person, but it's just like, I felt like that wasn't enough. So food became my best friend. And I think that's why today I'm having problems with my weight and dealing with some self-esteem issues because of him. And it's like, I took it on as if to say, it was like, it's my fault. Like I was responsible for his addiction. And let's see. I didn't, and thank God that it didn't fall on me to the point to where I started using, but I didn't. because I saw what it did to him, and I knew about what it did to other people, and I was like, I could not live my life like that. So I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, I'm gonna do another story about this because I feel like there's more that you guys need to know. Um, it's like you want to be there, and you want to help that person. You want to make sure that they're good. You want to make sure that, hold on a second, y'all. Okay, you want to make sure that that person, you want to sorry about that, you want to make sure that that person's well-being is good. But what about your own well-being? I took all the energy off of myself and I put it toward him, and I started gaining weight. But before I got with him, y'all, I was not that big, because my son, like I said, my son was shoot. My son was, like I said, my son was young, and I had just got done with getting him to take a sippy cup from being breastfed. So my weight picked up dramatically because I was so stressed out from tending to this man that, like I said, I took the caring off of myself. I took all of the energy off of myself and gave it to him. But instead, it was like he used it and abused it and didn't value what I was trying to give him. To this day, y'all, and I know this may sound crazy, but to this day, y'all, every time I see him, my blood boils because I get so hot. Like I don't carry bitterness, and some people might say that I do because what I just said, because my blood boils when I see him. But I don't. I tell myself to literally calm down when I see him, because number one, it's like, with all that he has, with all the confusion he's done, with all of the money that he stole from me, with my van getting my van was impounded because of him. Y'all, he had my son with him for about 6 hours, and he was in the process of getting high, and I did not know that. Y'all, okay, so let me tell you guys about that. Okay, so my sister, who I love dearly, came out to visit with her husband and her kids. And everybody was like, okay, we're going to go out and do this. We're going to hang out. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. And we had all of these plans going on that day. And, okay, so we had all these plans going on that day. So she comes out, and I told him, I said, I was trying to get the house clean, make sure the kids were up to par, making sure that, I was looking decent, okay? But mind y'all, I was not that big, but I was gaining weight. But anyway, okay, so he said, okay, I can take the van and go vacuum the van out. And I was like, yeah. I said, can you hurry up? I said, because my sister will be here such and such a time, and I said, I want her to come visit so we can go hang out. Because we're probably end up hooking up with her best friend and my mom and then her family too. So I said, can you go do that? I said, be back like as quick as you can. So okay, it's blinking.